As Mario said, Lewis Lee, I work with all the high schools. Pleasure to be here tonight, presenting here with Kathy Peace. Tonight, we would like to provide some informational data that we feel will be relevant and help to facilitate discussion tonight and on our topic, which is what is Future Ready 204? There are three areas that Kathy and I will briefly cover in our presentation tonight. The first one, student achievement. You will see just how a small portrait of how student achievement is measured and seen throughout the district. Education has and will continue to change from when we were in school. And for our students who are learning in today's classrooms, we will provide some of the landscape shifts that are currently happening. As we focus our eyes on the current educational shifts, the question arises about the future and in what direction the district is headed, and where we need your feedback about this direction. What you will see tonight is just a starting point for us as we continue to prepare our students for the future. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's take a look at the makeup of our district. So what you see here, we know that our district covers 46 square miles. And within that square mileage, the district map draws students from 4 areas: Naperville, Bolingbrook, Plainfield, and Aurora. We have 33 schools in the district. They are composed of 1 preschool, 7 middle schools, 21 elementary schools. We have 3 large high schools, 1 alternative school, 1 alternative high school, and then we also educate learners beginning in preschool all the way through transition after high school program for students in our STEPS program. We have several goals that are created by our Board of Education. One of these goals you see up there, and that looks specifically at helping all students to achieve academically. We celebrate our diversity in this district and work to educate a diverse set of learners. Out of about 28,000 students that we serve, we have just over 5,000 who are low income. We have around 3,000 of our students receive special education services. Over 100 languages are spoken within our district, and there'll be a test for you to speak all of those. The Advanced Placement or AP exam is offered through the College Board. A student who earns a score on a 5-point scale, they can earn a score on a 5-point scale. A passing score is a student who receives a 3 or higher. We know from the class of 2017 that 50% of our students received that 3 or higher. We have over 700 preschoolers we educate. 700. This can make for some very crowded but engaging tricycle races during the year. Our post-high school transition program, STEPS, which stands for Supportive Training Experiences through Post-Secondary, currently holds 97 students. So the question comes, how are our students achieving? Well, what we want to first do is begin by looking at our students with the end in mind, and that, of course, starts with what happens once they graduate, what happens once they leave Indian Prairie School District 204. The majority of our students who graduate move on to some form of post-secondary education. That may be in the form of a 2- or 4-year college degree at both public and private universities. If we were to look at the 2-year history of our recent class of 2015 graduating class, we see from that group that 86% have enrolled upon graduation in their first year of college or university. District 204 students are enrolling almost 20% higher in college as compared with the national average of 69%. Of this same group of students that enrolled in their first year, 94% of them returned for a second year of college. This rate of return, again, is around 20% higher than the national average of about 75%. The state of Illinois made the transition from using the ACT as a standardized test to test all junior students throughout the state to the College Board ACT recently. This transition begins with our current senior graduating class of 2018. In April 2017 of their junior year, all of our students took the SAT along with all junior students in the state of Illinois. The SAT is just one indicator of how many we use when measuring academic achievement. When looking at the results of our students, you can see our students achieved a district composite score of 1166. One of the factors we can also look at overall is operational spending. More specifically, how does it relate to our students individually? You can see here that the operational spending per student as a state average in the bar all the way to the right is about $13,000 that is spent per student. Where do we compare with that average? As you see, a District Indian Prairie student, we spend just under $11,468 per student. If we were to expand that comparison out to many of our comparable districts, you can see that we spend the lowest as compared to these districts, as well as the state average. So the question that may be forming, why are we not spending more money per student operationally as other districts that you can see up here? Well, we spend what is available and allocate it in our budget than what other districts have. Their budgets allow for more dollars to be spent per student. If we were to use the SAT as one academic measure of your resource dollars, we see a higher rate of academic return in District 204 with fewer dollars spent. When looking at this one example of academic achievement of our students at a more granular level, we do uncover areas where an academic achievement gap is present. Kathy will discuss in more detail about measures and work we are doing to address this gap.
Good evening. As Dr. Lee stated, the SAT scores that you see on this slide are an average. We know that not all of our students perform at this level and that we have an achievement gap. There are many ways we address this gap. One area of focus for us is on our early learners. We want to close the gap before it happens. In District 204, we provide 200 academically at-risk preschool students with the opportunity to attend preschool at no cost due to grant funding. At this time, we have 6 sessions of these preschool classes housed in our schools with a higher number of low-income families. The purpose is to not only build their school skills, but to also build the sense of community and belonging in their elementary school. These preschoolers have already built a relationship with school staff and community before they even enter kindergarten. Our initial data shows that over 60% of these students identified as at risk in these preschool classes were no longer considered to be at risk when they started kindergarten. So what does Future Ready mean? You've seen the hashtag FutureReady204 on Twitter and in other places. So we've shared some information about our students. Now let's talk about how we are and will continue to prepare them for their future. Our district has made a conscious choice to enhance traditional education in reading, math, science, and social sciences. So we still continue to teach in those content areas, but we have changed our method of instruction. This approach is similar to other high-performing districts and forward-thinking districts which we collaborate with and share ideas. Our goal is to support students as they build life and work skills. The Future of Jobs report from the World Economic Forum estimates that 65% of the children entering elementary school today will be working in jobs that have not been created yet, using tools that have not been invented yet, and solving problems that have not even been thought of yet. That's a lot. Our job is to prepare them for all of those unknowns. By the beginning of 2018-2019, that school year, 27,300 Chromebooks will be distributed to students in grades 2 through 12. This provides students with the same tool to access and create digital resources and products. Providing equal access is the first step to building for their future. As we talked about, there are so many unknowns, and so in order to start looking at that, we focus on these 10 work-related skills. Allison Gopnik from the University of California shares that we need to move away from teaching students what computers and robots can already do for us. These 10 skills listed here are doing just that. These skills prepare all students to think creatively and critically and to collaborate with others so that they can manage the robots and use the computers to solve problems, create products, and help others. In the next few slides, we'll highlight how we will address these 10 core work-related skills in our schools and to provide all students with the skills they need to be successful. These highlighted areas are in different stages of implementation. Some are just beginning to be developed. Some of them you may have already seen in your schools. According to Lumity, which is a company that helps to create computer science curriculum for students, computer science is the art of blending human ideas and digital tools to increase problem-solving power. Most of the careers in the future for our students will involve some form of computer science. They won't be computer science jobs, so to speak, but will have some form of computer science skills necessary in the work. Our responsibility is to teach all of our students to solve complex problems, think critically and creatively, to have flexibility in their thinking, because all of these jobs will require some form of these skills. One way that we have begun to address this is through our makerspaces. The Indian Prairie Education Foundation has been generous and supported us as we rolled out our first version of our makerspaces. A makerspace includes resources, technology, materials, and space for students to create solutions to problems, think innovatively, and work with others. It includes opportunities to code, beginning with small little robots with directional arrows on top used to move along a designated path, all the way up to fully programming a robot. It teaches them to think critically and sequentially. Some can use the resources in the makerspace to solve a problem after reading a story in an English language arts class, stopping in the story to solve the problem of the character in the story. It can also be used to teach persistence through creating something, trying it, reflecting on its effectiveness, and then revising. This process is repeated until a student is satisfied with the outcome. When students work together in the makerspace, they also learn to have flexibility in their thinking by listening to others' ideas and thoughts and adjusting the design or the solution. They learn that there is more than just one way to solve a problem. These pictures show students working in some of our makerspaces. You may have seen them in your LMCs at elementary and middle school and high school. Our focus at the elementary is to explore ways to further integrate these activities into the classroom, especially in the areas of math and English language arts. We want to embed these skills in their current content learning, as these skills will be embedded into their careers. We've begun to see success in many of the content areas, including the arts as well as the sciences. Dr. Lee will now share with you a little bit more about our offerings in this area that are related to these 4 skills.
So in the middle and high school level, students are able to continue on and follow a computer science sequence that involves problem solving, collaboration, failing forward, collaboration, testing, retesting theories, repeating, just to explore how things are operating. Some of the courses we have listed up here for the middle school revolve around essential tech. In this course, students are introduced to block-based programming, using programs like Scratch. They just get a general sense of what coding is about. That can expand on to the creative tech class in 7th grade, where they build upon some of their knowledge of programming. At the high school, not only do they continue in that coding sequence, but they're actually introduced to courses through Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is a collaboration between the University of Illinois and other business leaders, where they actually can follow an engineering pathway, where they continue to learn about different strategies, problem-solving strategies for critical and creative thinking, how to communicate, how to collaborate, how to work in project-based group learning. Also, at all 3 levels, our students have an opportunity to be a part of extracurricular activities of a robotic club. They continue to be able to diagnose if a robot does well and if it's working and what happens when it's not. We know that a picture's worth 1,000 words. What we like to do is show you a little bit about what happens in a Tech Revolution class located here at one of our middle schools.
We didn't really know what to expect, so like what the first reaction was like, wow, this is a really cool class. And then when we actually started working, I was like, wow, I don't want to be here anymore. Can I please leave? And then after a while, when you get to know like how like it works, you have more fun with it, and you're like, I want to stay here because this is a comfortable space for me.
Tech Revolution is every middle school in 204. This is our third semester, and it focuses on computer science concepts and learning to program. This experiment, actually, we started integrating software and hardware, so it was kind of like a first-time experience for all of us.
We used an app called Tinker, which is block programming to program a drone and get it to fly through an obstacle course. Usually what it was set up with cones, and we had it like turn and like go through, and then we had to try to land it in a hula hoop.
Problem solving is the main concept in computer science, period. And I know you do problem solving in all classes. This is problem solving at its best. It's real life, it's integration, it's working in teams. I can't say much more than I think that's the best life learned skill that they could have gotten out of it. And watching these kids doing problem solving over and over and over to get something to work, that's required in any career they go into.
My experience with this class has been great. I've made a couple of new friends, and also I've learned a lot more about computer science. When I grow up, I want to be working in the computer science branch, maybe like a web developer or computer programmer.
I would like totally recommend this class because like learn more information about stuff, not stuff you can learn at home. The drones are a once in a lifetime opportunity that you probably won't be able to do at home, so yeah, sign up.
It's the best class you could possibly try. If you don't like it, it's not your thing, that's fine. But it's introducing some of these kids to things they had no clue are even out there. It's the best opportunity District 204 could have done for us.
So as this video shows, it continues to highlight the different opportunities that students would have at one of these classes where they can continue to engage in different problem-solving strategies, communication, and collaborations. Students apply knowledge from a variety of disciplines as they engage in hands-on activities, projects, reflective of real-world scenarios and careers. Students continue to have the ability to analyze data, along with helping to look at challenges for our students that they may come across when working towards a goal. Kids continue to think critically and work on those skills. In cooperative group work, research we know supports peer learning. Teaching and learning is shared by the students, and the teacher operates as a facilitator. Students will often receive role assignments in the group, for example, in a lab experiment or research project. Clear objectives allow our students to work in small groups. I'm going to let Kathy continue to talk and highlight a little bit more of some of these skills.
Guess we need to work on our transitions a little bit. One of the keys to student achievement is student engagement. And when we talk about all of these skills, we know that we have diverse learners with different learning styles, different comfort levels, and our teachers do an amazing job of engaging our students in the learning. They know that an engaged student is interested and wants to learn more. District 204 provides broad curriculum offerings, including rigorous advanced placement to a wide variety of electives for students to pique their interest and to promote them to move forward and to try something a little bit more challenging. The foundation of our new science and social studies curriculums is interest and inquiry. We want students to ask questions and seek information to learn more about topics in these areas as well as the content that interests them. We offer numerous extracurricular opportunities, including, but not limited to, sports, music, content area clubs, interest-based clubs, and service organizations. As we continue to engage our students, our teachers and library media specialists have begun to create flexible learning spaces in response to the ways that not all students can learn sitting at a desk aligned in a row. You can see in the picture that students are collaborating around a table, sitting in different areas on different types of seats that might feel more comfortable to them. We also offer a flexible delivery of instruction. This continuum ranges from traditional face-to-face classes to blended classes, which blend both face-to-face with small group work, individualized activities, and student-led projects, all the way to some of our high school courses being offered totally online through our ELO program, which is expanded learning opportunities in a consortium with 2 neighboring districts. Students are able to choose the instructional delivery model that best fits their learning in these courses. We also know that authentic learning experiences not only support student engagement, but also provide a way for students to learn more about a specific field or a career. Our district offers a variety of these real-world opportunities, including these listed on the slide. The picture shows a student recording an event. Our media production students at each of our high schools are able to learn all aspects of creating a broadcast and sharing it with others. Our partnership with the Technology Center of DuPage allows our students to take classes in an area of interest where they may actually become certified in that area. The 3 most popular courses for our students are cosmetology, fire science, and criminal justice. Academic skills are important. However, social emotional learning is equally as important, if not of greater importance. We know that none of those skills can be taught if a student isn't feeling good about themselves and good about the environment in which they're learning. The last 3 life and work skills focus on self-awareness and interactions with others. They are people management, emotional intelligence, and a service orientation. Our staff work to build relationships with students to support them in these 3 areas. We want students to learn skills and strategies to maintain their own wellness. Illinois adopted social emotional learning standards that are taught throughout our curriculum. Some of our units even offer opportunities to extend it to service projects. Many of our students give of their own time to support others. You may have recently seen the picture of the Mattia Valley students volunteering on an opportunity on Dr. Martin Luther King Day. The number of students in that picture has grown each year that I've seen it. We recently began work with the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning Partnership. The goal of this work is to create a systemic approach to supporting students in their social emotional learning. These programs are for all students. We also provide a variety of mental health professionals to support students both in the district and through community organizations. We have district social workers, psychologists, with counselors available at both our middle and high schools. Our partnership with 360 Youth Services has been invaluable in this area as they support both the education of students, staff, and parents, as well as providing support for individuals. All of our schools can help families find resources located within our community. The information can be provided from anyone if students wish to ask for it. We have outlined our approach to building life and work skills to support our students to be future ready. Our future direction includes the following, which are really extensions of some things that we've already tried. The first one is providing instructional coaches in our schools. Coaches would work alongside teachers and staff to provide job-embedded support as they implement these future-ready instructional strategies. Currently, we have a limited number of district specialists that do this work. Coaches assigned to each school would have a greater impact on moving these strategies forward and helping to support our student achievement and growth. We also shared before that we've seen some success with closing the achievement gap before it happens by providing free preschool for at-risk students through a grant. We would, of course, like to increase that number of preschool classrooms to provide a greater benefit for more students. Research shows that the greatest impact of smaller class sizes happens for students who are at risk due to low income. We would like to decrease class sizes at our schools with a large percentage of low-income families. We've also shared the changes in curriculum to enhance the traditional education. Our teachers are excited and motivated to use the best strategies with their students. To do this requires teacher training and support. We've also talked about changing the instructional spaces of classrooms to reflect the change in instruction and the needs of our students. Our goal would be to create more of these flexible spaces for our students. The need for support for student wellness has and will continue to increase. We would like to provide additional support in this area through both staffing and programming. And lastly, as we talked at the beginning, we need to embed computer science into our traditional courses because we know that it will be embedded in the careers of our students as they choose them in the future. All that, we have challenges. What are they? The first one at the top of our list is how do we afford our desired future direction? In the slide at the beginning, we shared with you our SAT scores and compared to the amount spent per student. All of the programs and strategies and learning that we've talked about this evening come at a price. As you can see in that slide from before, we don't have as much money to spend as some of our comparable districts. Finances will be a challenge for us in moving forward. The needs of our students continue to change due to the world around them. As students' needs change, our challenge is to adapt and change our instruction and our engagement strategies in order to best support them. Many of the careers of our students that they will choose have not even been discovered yet. Knowing that, we have 4 areas that we want to pursue in order to help them understand the meaning of a career in general, so that they know what they're choosing in the future. Because we can't predict, one of the first things we'd like to do is investigate an elementary career awareness program. This program would help students at a young age see that a successful career is based on and matched with strengths and interest. We'd like to expand our college and career days to further build our students' knowledge about what it means to attend a college or have a career. We'd also like to expand our partnerships with local businesses. We've been fortunate to have many local businesses come into our schools, provide guest speakers, allow our students to visit, and we'd like to expand to more of that with increased internships for our students to get real-world experience at some of these local businesses. We'd also like to create innovation labs. These labs are dedicated areas within a school that would be supplied with resources, materials, and dedicated collaboration space for students to solve problems, invent, and create. And lastly, it is predicted that students in elementary school now may have up to 7 careers, not just jobs, but careers, by the time they retire from the workforce. Our challenge is to prepare them for whatever they choose, even though it probably hasn't even been invented yet. At this time, I'd like to thank you for allowing us and giving us your time as we shared with you our work and our vision for supporting our students to be future ready. We'll turn it back over to the committee. Thank you.